The Galactic Council's most prestigious diplomat, Zixthara of the Menthari, had touched the minds of over 3,000 species across the known galaxy. Her crystalline tendrils could pierce through any mental barrier, decode any thought pattern, and translate the most complex emotional matrices into pure understanding. She was the bridge between civilizations, the one who made first contact possible when words failed and gestures meant nothing. So when the primitive species from the third planet of Sol system requested diplomatic relations, the Council naturally assigned her to the case. The humans, as they called themselves, seemed unremarkable at first glance. Bipedal, carbon-based with crude technology barely capable of interstellar travel. Their ships were clunky metal constructs held together by what appeared to be controlled explosions and sheer stubbornness. Their first diplomatic vessel had actually arrived at the Council station trailing smoke, and what their translator described as colorful language. Zixthara stood in the pristine white chamber, her 6-foot frame elegant and ethereal, waiting for the human delegation. Her people were beings of pure thought and energy, housed in shells of living crystal that pulsed with soft bioluminescence. To her, most organic species were simple puzzles to solve, their minds orderly libraries waiting to be browsed. The door hissed open and 3 humans entered. The leader, a female with graying hair and laugh lines around her eyes, stepped forward with confidence that seemed almost reckless given the circumstances. She was followed by 2 others, a younger male with calculating eyes and an older man whose posture suggested military training. "I am Commander Sarah Chen of the Terran Diplomatic Corps," the woman said, extending her hand. "An honor to meet you, Zixthara of the Menthari." Zixthara's tendrils shimmered with curiosity. The human pronunciation of her name was crude but attempting accuracy. She reached out with one crystalline appendage toward the offered hand, preparing for the standard first contact protocol. The moment her tendril made contact with Commander Chen's palm, Zixthara's world exploded. Instead of the organized thoughts she expected, neat categories of memory, emotion, and intention, she plunged into absolute chaos. The human mind wasn't a library. It was a storm. No, it was worse than a storm. It was every storm that had ever existed, happening simultaneously in 11 dimensions while on fire. Chen's mind contained contradictions that should have been impossible. She simultaneously loved and hated her job, felt confident and terrified, wanted to protect her species while doubting their worthiness. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was that somehow, impossibly, all of these contradictions were true. Zixthara dove deeper, trying to find some stable foundation in the mental architecture, and discovered that Chen was thinking about 17 different things at once. She was analyzing Zixthara's body language, remembering her daughter's birthday party from 3 years ago, wondering if she'd left the coffee maker on, calculating political ramifications of this meeting, feeling hungry, composing a poem about starlight, worrying about her mother's health and planning her grocery list for next week, all simultaneously, all with equal intensity. But Chen wasn't even the most chaotic mind present. The military man was somehow thinking in tactical formations while simultaneously experiencing a profound sense of wonder at meeting an alien species and composing what appeared to be a love letter to his husband. The younger diplomat was running complex mathematical equations while having an existential crisis about whether his college degree was worth the debt, and also apparently seeing sounds as colors. Every human mind Zixthara had briefly glimpsed in the diplomatic records was the same. Chaotic, contradictory, multi-threaded consciousness that operated on principles that violated everything she knew about mental architecture. They were impossible beings with impossible thoughts. And then Chen's memories opened up. Zixthara saw humanity's history in a torrent of images and emotions. She witnessed species-wide cooperation and species-wide warfare, sometimes happening in the same decade, sometimes in the same country, sometimes in the same families. She saw humans create breathtaking art while simultaneously developing weapons of unprecedented destruction. She watched them save dying species while driving others to extinction. She saw them reach for the stars while poisoning their homeworld, then dedicate their lives to fixing the damage. Every human was a walking contradiction, a biological impossibility, a quantum superposition of saint and sinner, genius and fool, creator and destroyer. They were chaos given form, entropy made conscious, and somehow from this impossibility they had built cities, composed symphonies, and reached for the stars. But the final horror wasn't the chaos itself. It was the realization that this wasn't a flaw in human design. It was the source of their strength. Their contradictions didn't cancel each other out. They amplified each other. Their ability to hold opposing ideas simultaneously allowed them to see solutions that linear minds missed. Their chaotic thinking patterns made them unpredictable, adaptable, incredibly creative. They were madness incarnate, and their madness was beautiful. Zixithara tried to pull back from Chen's mind, but found herself caught in the gravitational pull of human consciousness. The sheer intensity of their existence was overwhelming. These beings felt everything at maximum volume, thought everything at maximum speed, and somehow maintained sanity by constantly dancing on the edge of insanity. She saw Chen's love for her daughter, a fierce protective emotion so powerful it could move mountains. She felt the human's dedication to peace so intense it would drive her to war if necessary. She experienced their hope, burning like a star in the darkness of space, refusing to be extinguished by logic or probability. The last thing Zixithara perceived before her consciousness fled back to her own mind was Chen's genuine desire to understand her, to find common ground, to build a bridge between their peoples. It was a hope so powerful and pure that it existed alongside complete cynicism about the possibility of success. Zixithara's scream echoed through the diplomatic chamber as she collapsed, her crystalline form cracking under the strain of processing impossible human consciousness. Her last coherent thought before darkness took her was a mixture of terror and profound respect. No wonder humans had made it to the stars. They were absolutely, completely, magnificently insane, and in a universe that rarely made sense, perhaps insanity was exactly what was needed.